My next interview is with a man who has challenged two Democrats for the Minnesota House of Representatives. He runs a successful business development company in the area. Kenneth Bush is no stranger to Rochester and says he joined this new mission to lead through listening to help bring more people to the civility table.
I've been in Rochester since I was 4 years old.
Yes.
I moved to Rochester, and my birthday, I was 5 years old. So I grew up here in Rochester. I grew up with southeastern Minnesota roots.
And you've seen changes. There have been a lot of changes just since I've been here, and that's been about 25 years. The changes we're seeing now, though, are a lot different than what we saw 20 years ago, 25 years ago, or 40. Why do you think that is? Why do you think things are different? Is it and more aggressive?
Well, I think that there was a lot of tension that was built up, that was, so to speak, probably swept under the rug a little bit. And this is by everybody, because we are Minnesota nice and people don't want confrontation. But I think that this year with the elections, this past election cycle, there were some major divisions, and it went beyond policy. And I think that the community that I grew up in, Rochester, Minnesota, is not racist. And to have that tone around Rochester is troublesome for a kid like me that grew up being one of the only black kids in the early 80s in the entire town.
But do you think that tone is this big, whereas in other parts of the country it's that big? I don't, but I have a different perspective than you do. I don't see it as much here as what we hear about in other parts of the country.
Well,
but then again, our skin color is different.
It is, and we are in southeastern Minnesota, and the reason why we're actually here today is because we're associated with people in the community that are thinking from the heart, that are thinking from the respect level, and that are thinking from the understanding and listening and learning level. I think in the rest of the country, the way that the incidents were handled in regards to law enforcement, I think a lot of those incidents were caught on camera, where back in the day they weren't. And I respect law enforcement, as we all know. But I think that opened up some division and really created an issue that led to so many other topics being opened up in reference workforce. Yesterday I met with the city and the Minnesota Department of Transportation to talk about diversity and inclusion in construction. And not only that, this goes into real estate, hospitality, it goes into all areas of our community. If we can find a way to grow that way, where we're creating jobs and keeping people focused on growing their families, I think that probably is the igniter of the good things to come.
Oh, then let me ask you this. There's a place for equal employment opportunity, agencies that want to see diversity. There's also something to be said about giving somebody a job, a position, because of the color of their skin, whether they're qualified or not. Your thoughts on that?
That's a great question, Betsy. It comes up quite a bit. You know, affirmative action, disadvantaged businesses. I'm the actual only disadvantaged African-American development and construction company in southeastern Minnesota. And I feel like...
Do you consider yourself disadvantaged?
I don't necessarily consider myself disadvantaged, but I do have to say that it is a fact that I have seen disparities. Because I don't have any examples to look up to that look just like me locally or in southeastern Minnesota. I wouldn't consider myself a pioneer. There are many others that have paved the road, Mr. Gibbs and Mr. Thompson and others, and a lot of local folks that are still doing good work. But I think that there are some disadvantages in reference to getting folks to the table and then wanting to feel accepted when you're at the table. I think that right there could be something that we could probably work on, because the uncomfortableness, I'm not saying myself, but I'm sure there's an uncomfortableness of when you're approaching whether it be a construction site, whether it be someone new from out of town that that may not have southeastern Minnesota, or perhaps understanding kind of the culture regionally. I guess there's a different culture if you're looking at West Coast, East Coast, and Midwest. And so I would like to say that we're different here. You mentioned agencies and things like that. There are many jobs available, and there are many organizations in Rochester and throughout the state of Minnesota in its entirety that are willing and open to provide training, certification for those that have come out of prison, for those that might not go to college right out of high school.
Coming out of addiction.
Those coming out of addiction. We're a wide open community of giving